At 41,000 feet over the North Atlantic, two armed F-22 pilots were ordered to intercept a silent passenger jet. But when they reached the cockpit, it wasn't the captain who answered. It was a 14-year-old girl in seat 12F, and the moment she whispered her call sign, both fighter pilots froze. For 8 terrifying minutes, no one understood who she was, or how she knew that name. But before the night ended, 243 lives would depend on her. And buried inside the black box, investigators would uncover a secret older than the aircraft itself. 2. Introduction. Flight Atlantic Crown 271. Airline Atlantic Crown Airways. Aircraft Boeing 777-300ER, Boeing 777-300ER. Route London Heathrow to New York JFK Heathrow Airport Wright Arrow John F. Kennedy International Airport. Date October 14, 2024. Weather heavy jet stream turbulence over the Atlantic, scattered storms. Crew Captain Daniel Mercer, 54. First Officer Elena Ruiz, 33. 12 cabin crew. Passengers, 243 souls on board. It was supposed to be routine. The overnight transatlantic crossing. Most passengers boarded exhausted. Business travelers, families, students, and in seat 12F sat Emily Carter, 14 years old, traveling alone, quiet, headphones in, a small silver bracelet around her wrist. No one knew. She had been told one thing by her dying grandfather. If you ever hear the word venom, don't ignore it. At 9:42 p.m., Atlantic Crown 271 pushed back. Everything was normal until 3 hours into the flight, when something impossible happened. 3 main story. Scene 1 boarding the silence. Narration. Rain tapped softly against Heathrow's glass. Passengers filled gate C-17. Captain Mercer reviewed weather. Nothing unusual. But security cameras later showed something strange. Emily stopped at the jet bridge entrance, frozen, as if hearing something. Then she whispered, "Not tonight," and walked on board. No one noticed. Pilot dialogue. Mercer, weather over Greenland looks rough. Ruiz, should smooth out over the Atlantic. Passenger reactions. Passengers settled. Children slept. Cabin lights dimmed. A normal flight. Or so it seemed. Technical explanation. Long-haul flights rely heavily on automated systems. Any major disruption at cruise altitude becomes extremely dangerous. Suspense ending. But in cargo hold 3, something had already begun moving. Scene 2 into the dark sky. Narration. Takeoff was smooth. The Boeing 777 climbed into black clouds. At 35,000 feet, Mercer engaged autopilot. Outside, nothing but darkness. Inside, peace. Emily stared at her tray table, drawing symbols. Symbols investigators later could not identify. Pilot dialogue. Ruiz autopilot set. Mercer good, easy crossing. ATC dialogue. London Center, Atlantic Crown 271, radar contact. Suspense ending. But then, the cockpit temperature dropped. 7 degrees. In under 30 seconds. Scene 3 the first warning. Narration. At 38,000 feet. Warning light. Electrical bus fault. Mercer frowned. That system powered multiple flight instruments. A reset fixed it. For 12 seconds. Then it failed again. Pilot dialogue. Mercer, that's not normal. Ruiz, running checklist. Technical explanation. Electrical bus faults can cause cascading failures. Navigation. Communication. Flight controls. Everything. Suspense ending. Then the cockpit recorder captured. Whispering. No third person was inside. Scene 4, seat 12F. Narration. Emily woke violently. Sweating. Heart racing. She heard the same whisper. Only one word. Venom. Her bracelet vibrated. Impossible. It had no electronics. Passenger reactions. Flight attendant noticed. Attendant, sweetheart, are you okay? Emily looked pale. The pilots are in danger. The attendant laughed nervously. Suspense ending. But then, all cabin lights died. Scene 5, total blackout. Narration. The Boeing 777 went dark. Emergency lights glowed red. Passengers screamed. Cockpit screens flickered. Then black. No autopilot. No navigation. Only standby instruments. Pilot dialogue. Ruiz, we lost primary displays. Mercer, Mayday, Mayday. ATC dialogue. Atlantic Crown 271. Mayday, electrical failure, partial instruments. Technical explanation. This was now partial panel flying. At night. Over ocean. Extremely dangerous. Suspense ending. Then Captain Mercer collapsed. Unresponsive. Scene 6, poisoned air. Narration. Mercer wasn't breathing normally. Ruiz felt dizzy. Smoke. Thin black smoke. Air conditioning contamination. A toxic bleed air event. Pilot dialogue. Ruiz, smoke masks on. Mercer didn't move. Technical explanation. Toxic fumes from engine oil can enter cabin systems, causing disorientation. Loss of consciousness. Suspense ending. Ruiz reached for the transponder and fainted. Scene 7, the empty cockpit. Narration. The aircraft flew uncontrolled, descending slowly. No pilots conscious. Cabin crew pounded cockpit door. No answer. Passengers panicked. Emily stood. Calm. Too calm. Open it. Passenger reactions. A man shouted. Who are you? Emily ignored him. Suspense ending. Inside the cockpit. Both pilots were unconscious. Scene 8, the girl in seat 12F. Narration. Emily sat in the captain's seat. Hands shaking. Yet familiar. As if she'd done this before. She grabbed oxygen mask. Read altitude. Speed. Heading. Perfectly. Technical explanation. Modern jets can be stabilized manually if standby instruments remain, but only by trained pilots. Emily had no training. Officially. Suspense ending. Then military radar detected the erratic aircraft. Scene 9, scramble. Narration. NORAD launched 2 Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor fighters. Call signs. Ghost 1. Ghost 2. Intercept. Assess. Prepare for worst case. ATC dialogue. NORAD, unknown pilot, identify yourself. Silence. Then Emily answered. This is Venom. Everything changed. Suspense ending. The F-22 pilots went silent. Scene 10, stand at attention. Narration. Ghost 1 froze. Venom was classified. An old combat rescue call sign. Used by one legendary pilot. Dead for 18 years. Emily's grandfather. Colonel James Carter. Pilot dialogue. Ghost 1 repeat call sign. Emily Venom. Suspense ending. How did she know? Scene 11 guided by ghosts. Narration. Ghost 1 formed beside the 777. He could see her. A child. Flying. Unbelievable. He guided heading changes. Pilot dialogue. Ghost 1 easy left 5 degrees. Emily obeyed perfectly. Passenger reactions. Cabin went silent. Watching a child save them. Suspense ending. But fuel was critically low. Scene 12 the storm wall. Narration. Ahead. Violent storms. No way around. Only through. Lightning illuminated the cockpit. Emily whispered, "Grandpa, help me." Technical explanation. Storm penetration risks structural failure. Extreme turbulence. Engine flameout. Suspense ending. Then engine 2 surged. Scene 13 fire warning. Narration. Engine fire warning. Right engine. Smoke again. Hydraulics dropping. Pilot dialogue. Ghost 2, you need to descend now. Emily pulled. Too hard. Stall warning screamed. Suspense ending. The nose dropped. Scene 14 the dive. Narration. Passengers floated. Screaming. The aircraft plunged 8,000 feet. Emily fought the controls. Recovered at 27,000. Barely. Technical explanation. High-altitude stalls are deadly. Recovery takes precious altitude. Suspense ending. One runway was within reach. Shannon Airport. But barely. Scene 15 final approach. Narration. Emergency crews lined runway. Crosswinds brutal. Emily's hands trembled. Ghost 1 stayed beside her. ATC dialogue. Shannon Tower, runway clear, you are cleared to land. Pilot dialogue. Ghost 1, keep nose level, trust me. Suspense ending. Landing gear failed to lock. Scene 16 belly landing. Narration. No gear. No second chance. Emily lowered flaps. Held center line. Touched down. Metal screamed. Sparks everywhere. Fire erupted. But the aircraft stayed together. Sliding for nearly a mile. Then stopped. Silence. Passenger reactions. Then cheers. Crying. Survival. Suspense ending. But Captain Mercer never woke up. Scene 17 rescue. Narration. Fire crews stormed the aircraft. 243 survived. One fatality. Captain Mercer. Ruiz barely alive. Emily sat motionless, holding the bracelet. Burned. Melted. Suspense ending. Inside it. Investigators found coordinates. Scene 18 black box truth. Narration. The cockpit voice recorder revealed everything. The whispers. The bus fault. The toxic fumes. But one final recording stunned everyone. A male voice. Not on board. Saying, "Fly, Emily." Technical explanation. Investigators concluded electrical arcing caused the system's failure. Bleed air contamination incapacitated crew. But the voice remained unexplained. Suspense ending. And Emily had never flown before. Officially. Scene 19 the hidden files. Narration. Military archives. revealed Colonel Carter trained on classified remote flight systems. Experimental. Neural-linked. Family DNA response research. Emily was part of it. Without knowing. Suspense ending. Her instincts were inherited. Or programmed. Scene 20, the final truth. Narration. The official report praised Emily. Hero. Survivor. Miracle. But Ghost One later admitted something chilling. When she said Venom, it sounded exactly like him. Same tone. Same cadence. Same voice. Impossible. 4. Ending. Atlantic Crown 271 became one of aviation's strangest survival stories. 243 people lived. Because of a girl in seat 12F. Captain Mercer was honored posthumously. First Officer Ruiz returned to flying a year later. Emily disappeared from public life. No interviews. No documentaries. Nothing. But every October, Ghost One receives a radio transmission on a dead frequency. One word. Venom. Investigation findings. Electrical bus fire triggered cascading failure. Toxic bleed air incapacitated crew. Engine fire caused hydraulic loss. Emergency belly landing prevented catastrophic breakup. Aviation lessons learned. Redundant systems save lives. Toxic air events remain a serious risk. Human instinct can overcome impossible odds. And sometimes, the black box doesn't explain everything. When the fire crews finally opened the shattered doors of Atlantic Crown 271, the silence felt unreal. 243 people had walked away from a disaster that should have ended in the Atlantic. Captain Daniel Mercer never made it home. First Officer Elena Ruiz survived, but she would later tell investigators she remembered only one thing before blacking out. A voice. Not her own. Not the captain. A man's voice saying, "Trust her." The official investigation blamed a catastrophic electrical bus fire, toxic bleed air contamination, and a hydraulic cascade failure, one of the rarest combinations ever recorded. But that wasn't the part investigators couldn't explain. Because in the cockpit voice recorder, between alarms, smoke, and screams, there was another sound. A calm voice guiding Emily through every turn. The voice print matched one man, Colonel James Carter, her grandfather, dead for 18 years. The military denied everything. The classified Venom program was sealed, and Emily Carter disappeared from public view. No interviews, no public statements, nothing. But months later, Ghost One, the F-22 pilot who escorted her down, reported something strange. Every year, on the anniversary of the incident, his emergency radio crackles to life. No signal source. No transponder. Just static. And one quiet whisper. C-12F mission complete. To this day, Atlantic Crown Flight 271 remains one of aviation's most impossible mysteries. A flight saved by a child. A ghost in the cockpit. And a call sign that should have died decades ago. Because sometimes, the sky remembers. And sometimes, it calls back.